I welcome you all to the swearing ceremony of our newly elected Shire of East Pilbara Council member. I commence today proceeding with acknowledgement of traditional owners of the land of which we meet today, the Nyiyaparli people, and their continuing connection to land, water and community. I also acknowledge the Māori people as the custodians of Jigalong, which sits in Nyiyaparli country. I pay my respects to all elders past, present and emerging. May I ask everyone present this morning to turn off and refrain from using their mobile phones, please. Following last Friday's extraordinary local government election to fill a vacancy of one councillor of East Ward, Milton Chapman was elected to fill the vacancy. We congratulate you on your election. Section 2.29 of the Local Government Act 1995, Regulation 13 of the Local Government Constitution, Regulation 1998, requires a person elected to the office of councillor to make a declaration in the prescribed form before acting in that office. The declaration is to be made before me, Steve Harding, the CEO of Shire of East Pilbara, being the authorised person under the Oaths of Affidavits and Statutory Declarations Act 2005. The declaration will be made in the prescribed form. I will call Councillor-elect Milton Chapman, elected at the extraordinary election held on the 15th of March, to come forward and make his declaration of office.
I, Milton Chapman, the Punmo community, WA 67262, having been elected to the office of the councillor and of the council of Shire of East Pilbara, declare I take the office upon myself, will duly, faithfully, honestly, with integrity, fulfill the duty of the office for the people in the district according to the best of my judgment and ability, will observe the code of conduct locked up by the Council of the Shire of East Pilbara under the section 5.104 of the Local Government Act 1995. I declare at Newman on the 22nd March 2024.
Congratulations, Councillor Chapman.
Righto. Item 1. So, welcome, Councillor Chapman, first and foremost. I welcome you all to the Shire of East Pilbara Ordinary Council meeting of 22 March 2024, which I declare open at 10:30am. I congratulate and also welcome our newest councillor, Milton Chapman, to his first meeting today as a member of this council. Councillor Chapman has previously served as a councillor and we welcome you back. Good to see you back, mate. I also welcome Scott Grensill to the meeting. Scott has been appointed as Acting Director, Corporate Services. Welcome, Scott. I commence today's meeting by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, the Nyiyaparli people, and their continuing connection to land, waters and community. I also acknowledge the Maru people as custodians of Jigalong, which sits in Nyiyaparli country. We pay our respects to the elders past, present and emerging. May I ask everyone present to turn off and refrain from using their mobile phones for the duration of the meeting. Tablets and laptops are permitted for the purpose of accessing agenda items and notes. I advise all those in attendance that this meeting is being audio recorded, which can be accessed by the members of the public and the media, and council members should refrain from making any defamatory statements. The meeting is also being live streamed. Members of the public are advised that anyone who has an application lodged with the Shire of East Pilbara must obtain and should only rely on written confirmation of the outcome of the application and any conditions attaching to the decision made by the Shire of East Pilbara in respect of the application. Attendance by electronic means, item 2. So we have a request from Councillor McWhirter Brooks and Councillor Lee Anderson, which are approved by Mayor Shire President in accordance with Regulation 14C of the Local Government Administration Regulations of 1996. We have the record of attendance is there. You have apologies under 3.2 for Etienne Worcester and 3.3 nil leave of absence today. Moving on to item 4, disclosures of interest. Are there any disclosures of interest to be made in relation to any of today's agenda items? Councillor Lockyer.
Yes, I have a disclosure of interest for items 12.4.2 and also item 16.1.1, and I will leave the room when the items are up for discussion.
Thank you, Councillor Lockyer. Any others? Councillor Lee Anderson.
Yeah, I have declaring interest in item 12.4.2 and item 16.1.1, and I'll be leaving the room and taking no part in the discussion.
Thank you, Councillor Anderson. Any others? Okay, I'll be declaring interest in item 12.4.2, the proposed relocation of the dust monitors to Capricorn Oval Car Park, lot 995, Thadana Crescent, Newman, as BHP is my employer. I declare I will leave the room and take no part in the discussion. I will also declare an interest in item 12.3.2, the proposed memorandum of understanding, Outback Fortescue Festival, as I'm currently sitting president of the Newman Lions Club. I declare I will leave the room and take no part in the discussion. I will also declare for item 16.1.1, the BHP grant funding application, East Newman Revitalisation and Sustainability Project, Newman, as BHP is my employer. I declare and I will leave the room and take no part in the discussion. Councillor McWhirter Brooks will assume the chair during the deliberations of these items. Move on to item 5, declarations by council members to have been given due consideration to all matters contained in the business papers before the meeting. All councillors present are asked to make their declaration. Start with yourself, Councillor McWhirter Brooks.
I declare that I'm given due consideration to all matters that are contained in the business papers before the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Anderson.
I declare that I've given due consideration to all matters contained in the business papers before this meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Peter Pear.
I have given due consideration to all matters that are contained in the business papers before this meeting.
You, Councillor Everett.
I have given due consideration to all matters contained in the business papers before the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Cooler.
I've given due consideration to all matters contained in the business papers before the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Lockyer.
I declare I've given due consideration to all the matters contained in the business papers before the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Landy.
I have given due consideration to all matters contained in the business papers before the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Chapman.
Okay.
I've given due consideration of matters contained in a business paper before the meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Chapman. I too have given due consideration to all matters contained in the business papers before this meeting. Moving on to item 6, where there is...
Sorry, President, can I go back to the declarations of interest, please? Thank you.
Sure.
I need to declare an interest in item 12.4.2, proposed relocation of BHP dust monitors, and item 16.1.1, BHP grant funding application for indirect financial? Direct?
No, probably direct.
Direct for a direct financial conflict. I will leave the room and not take part in any discussion.
No one left. Right. So, item 6, response to previous questions taken on notice, there is nil. Item 7, public question time, so there are no questions from members. 8, there's no petitions, deputations or presentations for today's meeting. Item 9, applications for leave of absence. Please note, as the 23rd February 2024 Ordinary Council meeting that leave of absence have been granted for Councillor David Everett from the period of 25 to 28 April 2024 to include the Ordinary Council meeting of 26 of April 2024. Councillor Peter Bear for the Ordinary Council meeting 24 May 2024. Councillor Lou Lockyer for the period of 6 to 28 April 2024 to include the Ordinary Council meeting of 26 of April 2024. Sorry, was that from the 6th to the 28th?
Yeah, the 6th to the 28th.
We did put that to vote. Yep. All right. So can I get a mover and a seconder for that one, please? Councillor Bear, thank you. And a seconder? Councillor Cooler, thank you. And we'll now put that one to the vote, please. We've got a yes and a hand online. Yep, excellent. Thank you very much. We've got one short. Oh, it's gone now. Where'd that go?
Oh, you changed it. It says procedural motion, return to council.
Sorry.
Milton, they all have this problem. It takes a lot to get used to.
It's not just you, mate. It's okay.
It's all good.
Oh, gee, that's a bit rough. So are we happy to proceed, or what do you want to do, Josh?
Can you just do a quick show of hands? Sorry.
Yep, can I get a show of hands for that one, please, for the change of dates? Yes, thank you in the chambers, and you both up in Marble Bar. Thank you. All for and none against. That has been approved. Councillor Everett. Right. Now, are there any further requests for leave of absence? Okay, excellent. Item 10, confirmation of minutes of previous council meetings. So 10.1, confirmation of minutes as presented before you. The opposite's recommendation reads that the Ordinary Council and confidential minutes of the council meeting held on 23rd February 2024 as published on the Shire's website and councillor portal be confirmed as a true and correct record of proceedings. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Bear, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Lockyer. Are there any changes to the minutes that council members are seeking? Thank you. I shall now put this to the vote, please. Thank you. Thank you, Marble Bar. We have 7 in the chambers. It's 9 for, none against. Item is carried. Moving on to item 11, members' reports. So council members' written reports will be included in the minutes. Are there any further members' reports for today's meeting? Councillor McWhirter-Brooks. We cannot hear you.
I'm unmuted.
Oh, we've got you now.
Thank you. I just report that I attended development assessment training in Perth on the 5th of March prior to State Council, which I attended on the 6th of March The biggest one for you to note out of that one is the response to the budget by Welga has been approved, and that will be their advocacy platform for the responses to the last state budget. You can find that online. And on the 7th of March, we had an election priorities workshop for election priority advocacy for Welga. And those three headline items were cost of living, the economy, so economic development, and housing is such a big problem it came in well third. The indication from the consultant that spoke to us was that we are most likely to have a continuation of the current government because the opposition parties just can't get candidates, won't get candidates up in sufficient seats. And the same will be the case for the federal election coming is the forecast. So just remember, they are forecasts by a consultant. That's certainly not the people of Australia speaking. But those are if you're focusing on anything for priorities, cost of living is the one, if you can tie it to cost of living, that will get you across the line first. That was the indication there. Thank you. That was what I've done.
Thank you, Councillor Brooks. Any others?
Yep, I just wanted, to add that I also attended the DAP training on the 5th of March and also the council workshop and the audit risk and governance meeting. And also just a point of a notice, not so much a report, but I was contacted by one of the organisers for the Yule River meetings, and they were looking for Newman community members to speak to around getting out the dates for the next one. And so I did mention to contact the Shire, and you've got a couple of panels that they can sort of tap into around getting, I guess, people to talk to around organisation of it, because they want to sort of build on last year's event. So, yeah.
So thank you for that, and we haven't received anything at this time, but we'll look for it as it comes through. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much. No further comments? Okay. We'll now move on to a procedural motion. So in order to consider the recommendation of the Audit, Risk and Governance Committee in relation to the 2022-23 financial statements, which are proposed to be included in the annual report and to be discussed at item 12.1.1, it is recommended by officers that Council consider the committee report at item 13.1.1 beforehand by passing a procedural motion as follows: that item 13.1.1 be considered immediately. Can I please get a mover and a seconder? Councillor Bear, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Lockyer. Please note there is no debate for procedural motion. It will be put immediately to the vote without discussion. So please vote. Those in Pilbara, thank you. We have one more in the chambers. Thank you. That's 9 for and none against. So we now consider 13.1.1 as presented before you. The officer's recommendation reads that Council 1 notes the unconfirmed minutes of the special council meeting of the Audit, Risk and Governance Committee meeting held on 14 March 2024. 2, notes the committee's acceptance to the audited financial statements for the year end 30 June 2023 and recommendation that they be included in the Shire's 2022-23 annual report. Can I get a mover? Councillor Lockyer. Seconder. Councillor McWhirter-Brooks, thank you. Would the mover like to speak?
No comment.
Thank you. Councillor McWhirter-Brooks?
Thank you.
Thank you. Does any council wish to speak on the motion? Should now put item 13.1.1 to the vote. Acknowledged, yep, acknowledged in Mulbar, and we have 7 in the chambers. We've got 9 for and none against. 13.1.1 is carried. Item 12.1, the Chief Executive Officer is presented before you. The recommendation reads that Council 1, in accordance with section 5.542 of the Local Government Act 1995, accept the 2022-23 annual report as presented in Appendix 1. 2, in accordance with sections 5.55 and 5.55A of the Local Government Act 1995, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to give local public notice of availability of the annual report as soon as practicable and to publish the annual report on the Shire's website within 14 days. 3, in accordance with section 5.272 of the Local Government Act 1995, selects 26 April 2024 as the day on which the 2022-23 general meeting of electors is to take place. And 4, in accordance with section 5.291A of the Local Government Act 1995, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to give at least 14 days local public notice of the date, time, place and purpose of the 2022-23 general meeting of electors. Mover, please. Councillor Lockyer, thank you. Seconder. Councillor Everett, thank you. Would the mover like to speak?
No, no comment, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Everett?
No further comment, thanks.
Thank you. Does any councillor wish to speak against the motion? Thank you. I shall now put this to the vote, and it is an absolute majority decision of councillors required. Acknowledged in Marble Bar and 7 in the chambers, got 9 for and none against. Item is carried. Move on to 12.1.2, the policy review, attendance at events. That council accepts the review and adopts the revised attendance at events policy attached as Appendix 1 to the report. Can I get a mover, please? Yes, Councillor Cooler, thank you. Seconder? Councillor Everett, thank you. Councillor Cooler, will you wish to speak?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Everett?
Yeah, no other comments, thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Thank you. Again, this is an absolute majority decision of council, so put that to the vote, please. Thank you in Marble Bar. Yes, we have 9 for and none against. Is carried. 12.1.3. New policy, council members' communication with Shire officers. The council adopts the council members' communications with Shire officers policy attached as Appendix 1 to the report. Can I get a mover, please? Sorry?
So, for councillors, taking on your comments, councillor, we've actually amended and put a copy of an amended version, just picking up the issue about them taking notes.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
So that's the one we should be moving.
Read it.
Yes, sure.
Yep. So the addition is telephone contact, and it states where the Chief Executive Officer has approved contact with a designated officer, a file note of telephone calls should be made by the officer and council member in accordance with the State Records Act 2000, and a copy of the officer's note confirming the decision sent to the CEO and relevant director. That is the change to the document. So I'll now ask for a mover. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Lockyer, and second, Councillor Bear. Would the mover like to speak?
No, I don't. Sorry, I'll take that back. I just wanted to ask a question in query. So to confirm, when it says when we make contact with officer, when it's a private matter, does that also include if I'm representing a sporting club and not necessarily an officer but a representative of the Shire? Can you just clarify that for me, please?
Yeah, sure. So as a councillor, you're always a councillor. Yes. So just to make it really easy and clean, so basically if you put the query through to myself, then I would divert it to, in those particular cases, I would divert that one through to Nicole's directorate, for example, because she deals with sporting clubs, etc. So that would still occur, yes.
That didn't clear it up at all for me.
Okay. No, okay.
What I'm just trying to say is that if I'm acting on behalf of my club and doing facility booking, stuff like that, this isn't part of that policy. Is that correct? Can you just...
No, it is part, because you're always a councillor. No matter what you do, you're a councillor, even if you are acting on behalf of another organisation. So to making sure the communications is really clear, we just want to make sure that, because one thing I want to make sure that you are getting service as a councillor appropriately, but yes, this policy is saying exactly that. It's saying that the councillor, you put it through, I'm not going to muck around with them, I'll be pushing them straight out to the people, particularly in those sort of matters.
So my facilities bookings are now going through councillor request every time?
comment. That's probably not appropriate. It probably doesn't work that way, but yeah, I'm with you.
I'm trying to make it easier for you.
Thank you very much for the question, councillor. So generally speaking, if it was something like a facility booking, then we would usually process that as we would as a personal matter. So if you were coming in to pay your rates or something of that nature, so the normal process that you follow for a facility booking. I think what the CEO was referring to is more where there can be a little bit of a grey line where you are a councillor, but you're also then representing a community group, and you might be having or requesting a meeting with an officer to discuss something for your club. Those matters do need to be carried through in line with the policy, and it's just to ensure that for both the councillor and for the staff member, that it's not seen to be that a councillor is using their position in order to get a certain outcome when they're working with staff. So it's just to make sure that there's clarity, but ultimately we acknowledge that the reality is, not just in this local government, again in local governments throughout, that councillors are very often also involved in other community groups, because the people that are attracted to council are people who are active community citizens and participants. So we want to make sure that you can still continue to undertake all your roles that you need to for your committees as well.
Thank you. That was, much better explanation. I wanted to just understand my role in making sure that we are, following the right process there. So thank you.
Please don't give me bookings. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Bear. Would you have got any comments as a seconder?
No comments as a seconder.
Red Bull hasn't kicked in. Thank you. Any other comments? Excellent. I should now put this to the vote, please. Thank you, Marble Bar. 9 for, none against. It is carried. Moving on to 12.1.4, the Local Government Reform Standardised Meeting Procedures Consultation. That Council authorise the Chief Executive Officer to prepare a submission in consultation with Council members in response to the Department of Local Government, Sport and Cultural Industry Standardised Meeting Procedure Consultation Paper. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Lockyer. Seconder. Councillor Bear. Would the mover like to speak?
Sorry. Sorry. I just wanted to, so is there any changes or any sort of anything added from the outcome of our workshop at all? Because not everyone was there, so I just...
That's a good question. I would propose that we would come up with something as a bit of a draft, and give you a basis to work from, and then you decide whether you like that approach or not. I think we should get that to you before the workshop, and then you can go through it at the workshop stage and go, yes, no, we don't agree, or we want a bit more here, and we'll certainly make sure at the April meeting that we would have the submission for you to adopt.
Okay, thank you.
That gives us plenty of time to make sure we get this right.
Thank you. Councillor Bear?
No.
Thank you. Any other council member wish to speak? I'll put 12.1.4 to the vote, please. Oh, sorry.
Thank you. Hello.
Yes.
I'd just like to sort of ask a question that if we wish to change any of that meeting procedure, that we can just move that standing orders be suspended, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Thank you.
Thank you. Right, I'll put 12.1.4 to the vote, please. Thank you, Marble Bar. 7-4 in the chamber, so it's 9-0. 12.1.5. Corporate Business Plan 2022-2032 review. As presented before you, the office recommendation reads that Council accepts the review of the Corporate Business Plan 2022 to 2032, Appendix 1 to the report. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Bear, thank you. Seconder. Councillor Everett. Councillor Bear, would you to speak?
No.
Thank you. Councillor Everett.
No.
Anybody else wish to speak?
Just a question.
Sure.
Sorry. Do we have any idea of when we're going to look at our strategic planning in the future, or when we're going to revisit? Sorry.
We need to do it soon. It's my thoughts in the next 2 or 3 months. So we'll put something together Try and find out when all councillors are available. I think it's really important that all councillors attend. So I know there's some absences here, so when we get a clear run, last time I tried to do it, there was absences as well, and I didn't think it was fair. So we'll try and get a time frame that works for everybody, and ask if councillors are available on that day, make sure you're available, and we'll do what we did last time with, what's most important to you now, and is there any changes and so forth. So yeah, I'll certainly organise something next 3 to 4 months would be, I would suggest, the latest.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. No further comments? I'll put 12.1.5 to the vote, please. Thank you, Marble Bar. 9 for, none against. It's carried. 12.1.6, the Freedom of Information Statement. As presented before you, the opposition's recommendation reads that Council adopts the reviewed Freedom of Information Statement 2024 in accordance with Part 5 of the Freedom of Information Act 1992. Can I get a mover? Okay, sorry, I missed that. Thank you. Councillor Brooks, seconder. Councillor Lockyer, thank you. The mover like to speak?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Lockyer.
No addition comments.
Thank you. Any councillor wish to speak? 12.1.6 to the vote, please. Thank you, Marble Bar. We're still one short in the chamber. Thank you. 9 for and none against. Status of council decisions for 12.1.7, that council notes the report. Mover, please. Councillor Bear, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Landy. Would the mover like to speak?
No, thank you.
Councillor Landy?
No, thanks.
Thank you. Does any councillor wish to speak? We'll put 12.1.7 to the vote. Thank you, Marble Bar. And it's 9 for and none against. 12.1.8, affixing the common seal under delegated authority. And opposition's recommendation reads that council notes the report. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Lockyer. Seconder, Councillor McGuirter-Brooks, thank you. The mover like to speak? Councillor McGuirter-Brooks is a seconder.
No, thank you.
Does any councillor wish to speak? 12.1.8 to the vote. Thank you, Thank you, Marble Bar. That's 9 for and none against. 12.2.1 2023-24 budget review. So as presented before you, the opposite recommendation reads that Council 1 accepts the budget review report as at 29 February 2024. 2, accepts the Shire of East Pilbara revised annual budget 2023-24 financial activity statement included as Appendix 1. And 3, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to submit the budget review to the Department of Local Government, Sports and Cultural Industries. Mover, please. Councillor Bear, thank you. Seconder. Councillor Landy, thank you. The mover like to speak?
No, thank you.
Councillor Landy?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Does any councillor wish to speak? This is an absolute majority decision of council, so I now put this one to the vote. Acknowledged in Marble Bar, we have 9 for and none against. 12.2.2 amendment to delegations and authorisations register. Authorisation of payments to Australian Tax Office, superannuation funds and authorised deposit taking institutions. That Council 1, pursuant to Section 5.42 and Section 5.46 the Local Government Act 1995, delegates the authority to the Chief Executive Officer to make payments to the Australian Tax Office, superannuation funds approved by the Australian Taxation Office and authorised deposit-taking institutions over and above the financial delegation granted by Council to the Chief Executive Officer in accordance with the delegation published in the agenda. 2, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to amend the register of delegations and authorisations accordingly. Can I get a mover? Councillor Bear, thank you. Seconder. Councillor Lockyer. Councillor Bear, would you wish to speak?
Can I just get a clarification on what a deposit-taking institution is, please?
Josh. Oh.
Look,
I'll get Josh to speak to this, but it is being transferred that we're talking about. Well, I'll let Josh do that.
Yeah, sorry. It's a bank or a credit union, a financial institution that's regulated by the Australian Prudential Regulatory Authority, and we're not allowed to bank with anyone other than an authorised deposit-taking institution.
Thank you for the clarification.
So
Thank you. Councillor Lockie as the seconder, you got any comments?
No, I don't think.
Councillor Everett, you wish to speak? You got your... Nope. Okay, cool. Thank you. Does any other councillor wish to speak against the motion? Another absolute majority of council to the vote. Thank you. Thank you, Marble Bar. And it's 9 for and none against. 12.2.3, monthly financial statements, insurance and investment report. So the opposition's recommendation reads that the council adopts the monthly financial statement for the period ending 29 February 2024 of the 2023-2024 financial year included as Appendix 1 to the report. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Cooler. Seconder, Councillor Lockyer. The mover like to speak?
No, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lockyer. Thank you. Does any other councillor wish to speak? Right, we'll now put this one to the vote, please. Thank you, and Marble Bar. 9 for, none against. That one is carried. 12.2.4, the list of payments, February 2024. The officer's recommendation reads that council endorses the below payments for the period of 1st February 2024 to 29 February 2024 as published in the agenda. Can I get a mover? Councillor Bear, thank you. Seconder? Councillor Everett, thank you. The mover like to speak?
Just to reiterate, I think Councillor McWhirter-Brooks' statements on the way that this is looked and laid out, I think is much cleaner and much easier for both councillors and the public to read through. So appreciate the work that has happened on that in the last 2 years that I've been in council.
Thank you. Councillor Everett?
Yeah, nothing further, thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments by councillors? Thank you. 12.2.4 to the vote. Thank you, Marble Bar. 9 for, none against. The list of payments have been carried. 12.3.1, Lotteries West grant funding application, Matu Mili Artists Wellbeing and Empowerment Project Pilot Program. That Council 1 endorses the Shire of East Pilbara's Matu Mili Artists Wellbeing and Empowerment Project Pilot Program application and submissions to the Lottery West Connected Cultural Experiences Funding Program. 2, notes the Shire proposes an allocation of operational budget funds to a maximum value of $358,370 in the 2024-25 annual budget specifically for the delivery of Matu Mili Artist Wellbeing and Empowerment Project Pilot Program subject to the successful approval of the Lotteries West application. 3, authorise the Chief Executive Officer to identify other external funding opportunities to contribute towards the project expenses. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Landy, thank you. Can I get a seconder, please? Councillor Lockyer. Would the mover like to speak?
there's a good thing for Matu people to keep them busy and employ them in Matu Mili. And maybe down the track can get more Matu to work and employ them. That's it.
Thank you, Councillor Landy. Appreciate that. Councillor Lockyer.
Yeah, I agree. This is a really good project. I just have 2 questions, or maybe 3. First one is this, with the pilot program, is that intended to be rolled out across all areas, or is it just specific Newman-based to start?
Okay. Let's talk to this.
So confirming that this is for Matu Mili Artists as a whole, which doesn't just include Newman. Obviously, the full operation is much more than the gallery. A number of the positions, though, that are identified through the wellbeing program will have a direct connection to the gallery. So I think you will see an increased participation rate at the gallery, but it is open across the board, and particularly around the opportunities for education, training, empowerment. that will be across all sites that Matamili is operating.
Okay, thank you. That was, I think it would be a fantastic opportunity to see that. And I guess just, complement the way that it's broken down and, the categories that it's going to address. So really think that's a great idea. My second question then is that will the money that we put forward from the budget be taken from anywhere that we've already sort of allocated, or is it just open?
So I can answer that one. It's money that we normally put aside anyway. So this is leveraging off our own money, that we already commit normally. So it's a good outcome, I think. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Yeah, I just wanted to know what the time frame for the pilot project is.
I've got you, Wendy, 1 sec.
To me?
No, just wait for a response for Councillor Bears, and then we'll go to you, 1 sec.
Thank you. So obviously it is subject to the outcome of the grant, but generally speaking, the program would take place over about 24 months. Obviously, in terms of when it would start, very much subject to whether or not we get the lottery's funding, because it is dependent. So I guess I just need to stress that this particular program is dependent on the Lottery West funding in order to progress.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Brooks.
Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Nicole. I commend the program. It's a great move forward to make wraparound services in the arts sector available to our stakeholders, our clients in the Matamili space. Just like to remind Council that we did pass a motion sometime last year that the Matamili program should be extended across the other language groups in the Shire. So we should be including the Banjima people, the Nyabli people, the Nyamal people, and all groups across the Shire, not just the Martu groups. And we did move that motion that we should be doing that. So I would hope to see that this pilot project would extend across all groups and engage them. Well, I do know that the Matamili group, the Matamili activations in our smaller towns, particularly Marble Bar, do engage with some of the Nyamal artists here.
I might just speak first and I'll let Nicole speak to this as well. When I was going around to all Aboriginal organisations with Emma, we were certainly talking about, do you have art? Because some groups have art and some don't have art. They have tools, and some do different bits and pieces. So we have been flagging that and trying to gauge some interest early on. We didn't really get early on, we'll continue. We didn't get a real big grab that, we want to be in this point, but we have sort of flagged the idea as an idea to see whether they're interested, because tools is also art, if we were going to do something along those lines. But I'll let Nicole talk to the specific program. But yes, we haven't forgotten that motion, and we're certainly doing what we can, but it's a bit of a slow mover in relation to trying getting a response back.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So Steve did cover a number of items. So I just did want to stress that currently you are correct. We actually have some arts materials that are on their way up to Marble Bar currently, or once we can make sure that we can safely get through on the roads to assist with some of the communities up there. Generally speaking, Matamili Artists is covered by the Wonkalampa Kajunga Charter, so there is that connection there specifically with Māori people. However, the other thing that I just wanted to flag, and we have today had a look at obviously the corporate business plan review, is we are looking at the arts and cultural strategy at the moment, and hopefully that will assist us to more broadly ensure that we have access and inclusion as a key focus throughout our arts so that we can create opportunities for all.
If I can just make a point, so in the conversations we've been having in relation to getting First Nations input into the projects, namely the youth hub and airport terminal, we certainly have been talking about near Bali artists, which is something that's not been wholly driven before, but there is an interest in having that. They've got an interest in incorporating as well. So we certainly will keep moving, trying to get everyone involved as much as possible.
Thank you. Any further comments? Yes, Councillor Chapman.
They do have an art centre in Helen, where those other language group are there. But my question is it's about extending, having a building out in the communities where we have those old people painting. It's not safe for them all inside, and they are sort of smelling. You need to have brand around it where the wind blows and it's sort of safe for them. Because over the past we had problem when the old people painting inside.
Thanks for your question and comment, Councillor. We certainly are looking at doing some housing for our Mardi Milli artists, and there's a project at Kirawarriji, sorry, where we are looking at moving up to housing type arrangements. We are talking to the community to find out. There's a question about which site specifically, but we are looking at moving that forward as quick as we can for their safety, I suppose, in some ways, and making it appropriate. At the moment, they're sleeping in the end of the art centre, which is not appropriate, to be honest. It should be separate from their workplace. So we're certainly doing that there. We obviously will see how that goes to other communities and whether or not we've got appropriate accommodation for them. But we are starting that process.
Thank you. Okay, any other comments? Okay, I shall now put 12.3.1, the Lotteries West Grant Funding application to the vote, please. Thank you, and Marble Bar. Nine for and none against. Councillor Brooks will be assumed the chair for the deliberation of this item as a result of me having a declaration of interest.
Yep, all for you. Councillor Anderson has left the chamber also. No, this is your ending. This is the Outback Fortescue Festival. So proposed memorandum of understanding Outback Fortescue Festival, as presented before you, the officer's recommendation reads that council endorses the memorandum of understanding, MOU, between the Shire of East Pilbara and the Newman Lions Club, endorses the transition of the Outback Fusion Festival to the amalgamated event, the Outback Fortescue Festival. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please? Can I have a mover, please? Councillor Lockyer. And a seconder, please. Councillor Anderson.
Yeah, okay, your choice. Yep.
So I have a mover, Councillor Lockyer, and a seconder, Councillor Anderson. Would the mover like to speak toward the motion?
Yes, I would like to propose that we do endorse this, and I do think it is a good idea for us to look at ways of joining forces, so to be it, around making sure that events that are held within the Shire are sort of have our full support. My only question is the lack of, not a question, but my only comment would be the lack of sort of notice that we received as a council regarding this, because we only reviewed it this week, and I think that, yeah, we could have had a bit more time to think about this.
We'll take that. I understand what your comment.
Would the seconder like to speak?
Nothing.
Does any council member wish to speak to this motion or against the motion? No, thank you. In that case, we shall now put that to the vote. In Marble Bar, we have 2.
One more.
No, Anthony's out of the room.
Oh, sorry. Oh, we
We have 8 waiting on 1, please.
No, Anthony's out of the room. We've got 6 in the room.
Oh, no, sorry, Anthony's out of the room. My apologies. In that case, we have
8 nil.
8 for, none against.
Yes.
Can someone please invite Anthony back into the room?
The things we think about. We should have reordered our items so you're only out of the room once.
It would have been good to suspend standing orders and then rearrange our program to do that. Would have been possible.
Right, we'll get on the front foot next time.
Next time.
If Josh was on the front foot before, we'd be laughing. It's all right. Anyway, move on to 12.4.1, proposed parking local law. So as presented before you, the officer's recommendation reads that Council 1 gives local public notice in accordance with section 3.12 of the Local Government Act 1995 of the Shire's intention to make the Shire of East Pilbara parking local law 2024 attached as Appendix 1 to this report, and 2, authorise the President to give notice to the meeting in accordance with Regulation 3 of the Local Government Functions and General Regulations 1996 for the purpose and effect as follows. Purpose: to enable the Shire to regulate the parking of vehicles within the district and provide for the management and operation of parking facilities under the Shire's care, control and management. Effect: a person parking a vehicle within the parking region is to comply with the provisions of the local law. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Bear, thank you. Seconder. Yep, Councillor Chapman, thank you. Would the mover like to speak?
Yeah, I just want to ask the change of ability to establish pay by phone zones where the only method of payment in that zone is pay by phone. That's giving us the ability. Is there an intention to start having paid parking in our town sites, or is it just the ability to do that?
Well, it's not something that we're contemplating at this point. It's more to touch at the airport. If I can, that's where it would be very helpful to have that sort of facility.
Yep, no problem.
It's not something that, we were looking at doing something or proposing that. We would certainly need to have a workshop about that one. I think we might get a bit of a kickback on that.
Yeah, that's why I asked. Thank you. That's all.
Unless you want to create more revenue, but that's not what this is. It's about. Normally, it's, charging in our case is around keeping people moving so that people can use car parks. Our car parks are not too bad in this town. So.
Thank you. Councillor Chapman is the seconder. Would you wish to speak?
No, thanks.
Thank you. Does anybody else wish to speak? Thank you. We shall now put item 12.4.1 to the vote. Thank you, Marble. We have 9 for and none against. Councillor McGuire Brooks, please, if you could again assume the chair of the deliberation. I shall lead the room.
Do we still have a quorum, please, Joshua?
Yes, we do. We have 5 council members out of 9.
Indeed, we do. Very good. Item 12.4.2, proposed relocation of BHP dust monitors to the Capricorn Oval Car Park, Lot 995, Falana Crescent, Newman. As presented before you, the officer's recommendation reads that Council endorses the proposal by BHP to establish 2 dust monitors within the Capricorn Oval Car Park, subject to the Department of Planning, Lands and Heritage granting an amendment to the existing management order from recreation to recreation and environmental monitoring, and B, all costs associated with the proposal, including but not limited to car park line marking, legal fees, to be at the cost of BHP. Number 2, authorises the Chief Executive Officer to negotiate a 5-year plus 5-year lease arrangement with BHP for the purposes of dust monitoring for further consideration of Council. May I please have a mover? Thank you, Councillor Coulard. Do I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Chapman. Would the mover like to speak toward the motion?
No, just want to add, so what we are looking at is funding from BHP for 5 years, is it?
CEO?
So through the chair, what we're talking about is it'll be we're talking about a 5-year plus 5 years, so it'd be 10-year potential lease. In relation, and you haven't asked this question, but I think I might just address it while I can. The actual quantum of which they will pay for the lease will be negotiated, and obviously it's a small area of space, but it's a very important area of space, so we'll be negotiating as high as we can in relation to that matter.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify the time, so that's what.
It's a 10-year total.
Okay.
We would apply the similar conditions we have on other leases, by which historically, a long time ago, it would have to come back to council. We will probably just put something in there that the CEO's discretion, provide they're paying their rates, they're paying their rent, and they're not creating a havoc, that we would renew the lease for 10 years, for an additional 5 years, to make it a 10-year lease.
Okay, thank you. I think that's a lot clearer. Yeah.
Does Councillor Chapman, do you wish to speak towards the motion?
No, thanks.
Do any councillors wish to speak against the motion? Or at all? Thank you. I shall now put that to the vote. In the chamber or in Marble Bar.
Yes.
We have 4 in the chamber and 1 in Marble Bar. That is carried. Can we return members who are outside, please?
Righto, moving on to 13.1.2, minutes of local emergency management committee meetings, March 2024. As presented before you, the opposite recommendation reads that council receives the minutes of the meeting of the local emergency management committee for Marble Bar Lemp, 6 March 2024, Nullagine Lemp, 7 March 2024, Newman Lemp, 8 March 2024. Can I get a mover, please? Councillor Lockyer, thank you. Seconder. Councillor Anderson, thank you. Councillor Lockyer, wish to speak?
No, just disappointed I couldn't be at the meeting, so yeah, my first one.
Thank you. Councillor Anderson?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Does any other council member wish to speak? We'll put 13.1.2 to the vote. Acknowledged in Marble Bar, thank you. 9 for and none against. Item 14, motions for which previous notice has been given, there is nil. 15, there is nil questions by members for which due notice has been given. Item 16, new business of an urgent nature introduced by decision of council. So the following item has been circulated council members. Item 16.1.1 is a report for council to consider accepting grant funds to the value of $950,000 excluding GST to be expended over 3 years for the purpose of funding the delivery of the East Newman Revitalisation and Sustainability Project and making a consequential budget amendment. I move that council consider item 16. Should I be moving that?
It's just to consider it.
Yeah, I know, but okay.
Do you want to take that just in case?
Sorry?
So would you like, through the chair, would you like me to take that item just in case it is complementary? Because I know this is a procedural motion.
Because
that we consider the motion. What does Josh think?
So yeah, because it's a procedural motion, all you're doing is facilitating council's consideration. I don't think that those disclosure provisions apply.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Yep, I'll move that council considers item 16.1.1 as new business of urgent nature immediately. Is there a seconder? Thank you, Councillor Bear. Does the seconder wish to speak on the motion? Any other councillor wish to speak? We'll put that one to the vote, please. Thank you, Marble Bar. 9 for, none against. Councillor Berta Brooks will assume the chair. Thank you.
Item 16.1.1 BHP grant funding application East Newman Revitalisation and Sustainability Project. As presented before you, the officer recommendation reads that Council 1 endorses the East Newman Revitalisation and Sustainability Project initial phase to be completed by 31 October 2025. 2, accepts the offer of funding of a funding grant of $950,000, excluding GST from BHP for the East Newman Revitalisation and Sustainability Project initial phase, and authorises the Chief Executive Officer to execute a funding agreement with BHP on the Shire's behalf. 3, pursuant to Section 6.8 of the Local Government Act of 1995, authorises an amendment to the Shire's 2023-24 annual budget to create income and expenditure accounts for the purposes of the East Newman Revitalisation and Sustainability Project as published in the agenda. May I have a mover, please?
You have David Everett here, put his hand up, and you've got Councillor Landy also.
Moved Councillor Everett, seconded Councillor Landy. Would the mover like to speak to the motion?
No, thanks.
Would the seconder like to speak to the motion?
No, thanks.
Any other councillors wish to speak to the motion? In that case, I shall now put this to the vote. Please note that this is an absolute majority decision of council as required for this item. I have 4 in the chamber, 1 in Marble Bar. That item is carried. Thank you. May we have a return of councillors, please?
Righto, moving on to item 17, confidential matters behind closed doors. Council members, may I please have a mover and a seconder that items 17.1.1 proposed deed of extension Mission Australia, 17.1.2 proposed licence Newman Airport Bureau of Meteorology, 17.2.1 request to write off outstanding sundry debtor, 17.3.1 under separate cover senior staff appointment of the agenda be dealt with behind closed doors in accordance with section 5.232 of the Local Government Act 1995. Mover please. Councillor Everett, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Bear, thank you. I shall now put this one to the vote, please. Acknowledged in Marble Bar. 9 for and none against. Please refer to your confidential agenda items. The time is Thank you. As there are no members of the public to invite back into the council chambers gallery today, I shall note that council decisions relating to the confidential items considered being 17.1.1 proposed deed of extension Mission Australia, 17.1.2 proposed licence Newman Airport Bureau of Meteorology, 17.2.1 request to write off outstanding sundry debtor, 17.3.1 under separate cover senior staff appointment shall be incorporated into the minutes of today's meeting and published on the Shire's website and for community and general public to be confirmed at the 22 March, April. Thank you. 2024 Ordinary Council meeting. Almost come through unscathed. Almost. 18. Date of next meeting. The next meeting, council meeting, is scheduled for 26 April 2024 in Newman Council Chambers following the electors' general meeting, which will commence at 10:30 a.m. Item 19, closure. There being no further business, I now declare the Shire of East Pilbara Ordinary Council meeting 22 March 2024 closed at 11:54 a.m. And I'd like to thank council members and staff for their attendance. Have a good day.